20 questions.
20 questions.
20 questions.
You guys get the guesses. You guys get the rules. So just hit the ground running, Tavin Bothel.
Is this game from a Western development studio?
No.
It's a game, right?
Game,
It is a video game,
Okay.
yes.
is this game an RPG?
No.
Not a Western, not an RPG.
Not a Western, not an RPG.
Okay. Is this game Japanese?
Yes.
Okay. Is
It's not
this
Stellar Blade.
game...
Phil. It's not Stellar Blade.
Right. Yeah, because that's Korean, right?
Yes.
is.
Yeah. Korean's on fire right now.
Mudong, 2 hearts.
Kicking ass. Is that what it's called?
Is
Two Hearts?
this...
Yep. Two souls, 2 hearts, 2 souls. 2 hearts, I think.
I think it's Two Hearts.
Yeah. Had something on your
Is
tip.
this game an action game? Because, like, I don't know. I can say... I can be a little more specific. I don't know.
Yes.
Like, yes, it is.
Yes, it is an action game.
Is this a fighting game?
I can believe it. Yes.
Should have jumped there sooner.
God damn it.
We should have been
God
there
damn
sooner.
it. All right. Well,
We should have been there sooner.
is this game Guilty Gear Strive?
Bill gets the point with
Okay.
Guilty Gear Strive.
Partnership.
That's not an action game. That's a fighting game. I would have said no to action.
Feels right.
That was the question. It was like, well, technically it's an
No.
action game. What's an action game?
It's not.
An action game typically is third, but usually is first person. But you typically control a camera, and it involves like a lot of like action, like just mashing buttons, beating things up, but like not in like a fighting game is its own thing.
Like, you know how Sifu isn't a fighting game? It's an action game.
yeah,
Yeah, so
that's the example. That's a good example.
it was in the fighting game category.
Yeah, and they were wrong. They were
Yeah, they
universally
were
wrong
wrong.
about that.
I mean,
Everyone
everything you
said
just
they were
described,
wrong.
except for camera movement, which is not a true definitive like indicator
Okay,
of an
but
action
like,
game. Was
like
what you
okay,
exactly described.
Yes, but like no, like.
But yeah, it's, you just say no. But
Okay, so
No.
action is I'm fighting enemies and killing them or incapacitating them, and they like disappear, and then I go and I fight more. Like it's not like there's not rounds, there's not matches, there's the game.
It's not. I'm fighting my opponent, depleting their health bar, and then that's the end of that match, right? Like that's not what an action game is. That's a fighting game.
I think when you go back to like the true essence of video games, like arcade games, you'll find that you wouldn't consider those action based off your parameters right now.
What are you talking about?
Like a lot of arcade games were.
Tavin, he's right.
considered an
Pac-Man's an action
game.
game.
What are you gonna go Contra? Are you talking Contra? Contra's an action game.
I'm thinking more. What the fuck was the? It was something I played all the goddamn time. You see them in arcades everywhere. TV something. You basically go multiple rounds. It's like a twin stick shooter.
Okay, but that would be a twin stick shooter.
Twin stick shooter. That's
I think
also
you guys are
not
being
an
way
action
too
game.
rigid with what you like say. A very specific
Dude, fighting
style
games
of gameplay.
are not action games. I don't understand
True.
why I have to explain
Yeah.
this to you.
I mean, because again, you can't even really hardline explain it to yourself. You have to like really think of very specific ways to define an action game, and even then, just only one specific thing to all of a sudden say, well,
I
fighting games
don't
aren't
like
action.
I don't like people treating action game as a catch-all. Like, I don't know.
That's not.
I feel like that's what you're doing here,
Yeah,
Connor. You
yeah,
shouldn't
you're
treat
just-
action game as
you're-
a catch-all.
You're doing.
well, maybe.
the-
Well, okay. You can't be like action, such a very nondescript word of what something specifically is, and be like, well, no, there's actually a hardline thing you call action, and if you're not abiding by it, it's not action.
Action would be a combat-focused like game in which you are like blasting enemies and taking on waves of enemies at a time. So like a Devil May Cry or a
Kingdom
Sifu
Hearts.
or a Kingdom Hearts, which action RPG-ish because it brings
But,
in all
yeah.
the
Yeah, but,
RPG elements into it.
Again,
It's
they
more
seem
of an
like
action game than
very
anything.
specific ways to determine an action game, seeing as how you fight bosses. There's not waves of enemies there. You're fighting a single.
They usually have
enemy.
They usually have mobs
Yeah.
involved.
Sometimes, if they're
There's
bad
also-
bosses.
It's not always involved, but then again, fighting games don't have bosses.
They do, yeah.
No, they don't.
They're
You
literally
just fight
boss
another character.
They're literally boss characters. Akuma is a boss character. That's the entire origin of them.
Yes.
Okay, but he still functions under the same mechanics and controls as the fighting game that you are playing.
Usually they're able to do a lot more. That's why they're a boss game. Like
in an action game, you're not defeating a boss and then you can play as that boss in the next round against a different character, right? Like,
no, some bosses you just can't play as. Like
he's right. There are characters in fighting games that are just straight up like you play it in the whatever classic mode or campaign or arcade mode or whatever. And
I just think of like M. Bison or Seth or I don't know.
I don't think, but I also think like Seth. I
It's
think
like-
was originally.
It's like in just to bring it to an example, you probably know, Phil. In like the Smash like classic mode, whatever it's called, you would fight like the monster from Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
Is his
Rathalos.
point. Yeah. But like
Or like Master
what you're
Hand.
doing is like being like, well, actually, it's so vague. When it's you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll stop the conversation.
And
there
just
to move
because
on.
we as human beings are failing to give you the rubric in which game genre is defined by doesn't
You
mean
don't
that
even know what we're
exactly, so
talking
it's
about.
it's pretty open ended. It's not as hard
It
line
just
as you're
feels
pretending
like-
it to be.
No, we are idiots. That's what I'm saying.
It just feels like you're
Me
being
and Phil
purposefully
do not
obtuse.
have the capability right now in a podcast free-form thought format to give you a dedicated rubric. If I went into my room right now and typed out the script, I could do that.
Well, my argument is that there's not a rubric, and you're trying to define it into one. And I'm just trying to defend how, like, I'm not
A
hard
fighting
line.
game is not an action game. I don't know how else to like.
You're just being-
in what
you're just
way
being
is a
purposely
fighting game an
obtuse.
action game? Because there's action. Almost every video game has action. By that definition, fucking Death Stranding's an action game.
Pac-Man's
not.
an action game. Galaga's an action game.
What Phil said, more so, yeah. With you, when the game actively tries to not make you fight, I think that's where it kind of interrupts the idea of calling it an action game.
But like.
Like, it desensitizes you.
But Connor,
this
in the
is-
same realm, it has action in it. There's boss fights in it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Like,
But it's
what
not
do
a
you
key
mean?
defining thing of the game, whereas fighting games, you're constantly, like, it's all about fighting something else.
It's all about
Particularly
what?
in action.
All
Yes.
about. It's about fighting. It's like a 1v1 thing, though. Usually, I guess yes.
Yeah.
You can give me the exception. You can exception to the rule me to the death.
Mm.
You know that's why exceptions prove the rule, don't make the rule.
I think things are fluid, man. They go everywhere.
Fighting games aren't action games. There's a difference.
Agreed.
All right, well, I don't really care, thankfully enough.
And that's not what's crazy is that's not even where the line blurs. Where the line blurs is action and action adventure.
Yes.
Those are two distinct different genres, but the lines do blur
I think
because
that's far
action
easier-
adventure is already a blend of the
I
adventure
see.
and action genre. But you don't see adventure games that often.
Yeah.
Like action game, I think Devil May Cry. Action adventure, I think like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Even those lean a little more adventure for me, but Phil's right.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Action adventure, I always go to Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.